What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the podcast. I'm here with Tyrone, Hollister, and Menelik. It's a snowy Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday. Kansas City Chiefs versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We'll get into that a little bit later on the podcast. But I just wanted to touch base real quick, some NBA, news and in like not a conspiracy theory, but another theory that I was running through with another net fan. So I wanted to bring it out to the panel. So anyway, we all saw what happened on I think it was Thursday where KD was playing and they pulled him from the game or Friday, one of those days. It was Friday.
Yeah,
They
I think it was Friday.
It's Friday, yeah. So pretty much essentially KD, this contract tracing, everybody knows the whole COVID thing's going on. So KD um was supposed to play. They pulled him at warm ups. Then they said he might gonna start in the game. Then he comes to the bench like after 8 minutes of the first quarter. He gets right into the game. The Nets make a run. They playing well. He's killing a little bit, doing his thing, making good plays. They had a controversial call in the third quarter. They challenged the call. He's sitting on the bench. Then KD's not playing anymore, and KD's back because of contact tracing, and he's got a quarantine. Now I understand the NBA is really trying to play it safe and make sure that the players stay well and everybody's good. But to me, it doesn't make sense when you have a guy he already had COVID. Okay, I'm not trying to say you can't get it. I don't know the how it works if you can't get it or if you had it already, whatever. He already had COVID, tested negative 3 times. Not like how when they pulled Steph Curry before the game when he actually tested positive on his last test. Tested negative all 3 times. The person that he might have been in contact with had it, right? And got tested and I came back at first inconclusive and then it came back as it was positive. To me is not a good look, especially for the Nets who are trying to like establish chemistry and trying to establish a nice flow, a nice run. And I have some theories about it, but before I get into my theories, I just wanted to get you guys' take on that. So Menelik, then Hollister, then Tyrell.
Yeah, so when I saw the news, it was kind of crazy. I'm like, all right, oh, he in, then he out, he out, he in. You know, you would think too, if they gonna let him come back to the game, right? He was out there for a minute,
Yeah.
that they did their diligence at that point. You know, when they initially pulled him and stopped him from starting,
Yeah.
you would have thought they would have been whatever the protocol is, they would have been 100% certain before they let him come back in, right? So I think they say, yeah, he did test negative, so they let him back in. But I guess they were waiting for the test for the person that he was in contact with. And then
Yeah.
when that one came back and it came back positive, then they were like, all right, now we got to pull him. So, like you said, I ain't a scientist. I don't know all the specifics. Obviously, you know, you read, you listen to certain stuff about COVID because it's affecting everybody. So I don't know. Maybe it could be that they felt he is still, even though he don't have it, he might be able to transmit it still. Once again, I don't know all the inner workings and specifics, so I'm thinking, and then I know they have their protocols and their rules. So, but I feel like they should have just waited for that other test
Yeah.
before letting him come back, if anything. Like I get to like the game is ticking and he want to get out there, whatever, whatever. I just feel it's not a good look because of how it went down. It seems like it's a little all over the place. Like they don't really know what they doing because it's like, all right, he can't play. All right, he can play. Oh, nah. Then again, on second thought, nah, you can't play. So and yeah, it affects the team, it affects the chemistry. You know, it's gonna affect him too. And I know he want to go out there, he want to play, he want to help his team, and you know, for the coach and for the other players too on both teams, it just creates a lot of confusion. So hopefully they learn from this and they don't do this kind of thing again. Once again, the pandemic is crazy. Life ain't normal. This season ain't normal. So they doing the best they can to figure it out. But it did seem pretty weird and it wasn't a good look.
Yeah, so I was reading that they said a Nets
Yeah, I guess I got
employee or
froze up a
staff
little
member
bit for
reading
some
that they
reason.
said an employee of the Nets had the COVID, and they said him and Katie was like just riding around to the hotels or going here there hanging out. They said they had on no mask, and Katie tested negative because he do the antibodies. They said, but the employee tested positive. But if that was the case, they should have postponed the whole game instead of having him play. Because if
Yeah.
that was the case, he's around somebody positive. You got contract chase, cancel the whole game. Y'all did that with every other team. Cancel the game or postpone it or don't let him play at all. Something, but it was just a whole weird situation. You have him warm up, then you take him out, like Malik said, and he comes in later in the game. It was just weird. I don't know what's going on. The NBA got to fix that because they real strict with everybody else. Like Memphis, they canceled them for like almost a whole 2 weeks. Washington, they did the same thing. But it's like now with Brooklyn, it's like, all right, why you gotta do this to them in particular?
Yeah, I'm getting to that when my turn coming. I got
it's just weird. It's like
my turn coming.
It's like the whole Nets is like it's always something with since the season started. First Kyrie absent, now this, now that. It's like, come on,
yeah,
they're just trying to stop us, but it ain't gonna work. But
yeah, man, you can't stop it. Tyrone?
I understand health issues first, but like, all right, get it together, NBA. Y'all got all the tools and stuff, but
yeah, facts.
Yeah, Michael, I'm glad you brought up the fact that that's what you was getting to, because I'm about to argue with you, because there ain't no conspiracy against no damn Brooklyn Nets. Every team has gone through something at least one time this year. Why they had to cancel the game? Is it because y'all lost?
No,
because y'all lost the game, right?
I mean, look, I'm waiting for you to finish, and I'll give you the whole spiel, man.
I don't want to hear nothing about no. Oh, I should have just let you win first, but
yeah.
I thought personally that he should not have played at all.
Mm-hmm.
I think the moment they said something about contact tracing with somebody, he shouldn't have even been allowed to warm up. I think that's what should have happened, and they should have continued to play the game as is, because a lot of teams have had situations where they either postponed the game or they played with a certain amount of players. The Philadelphia 76ers went out there and played with a D-League team at one point. So I don't really want to hear anything about, oh, they should have canceled the game. Like, I don't even want to hear it. They went out there and did it. The Miami Heat did the same thing. Yes, the Wizards and other teams' games were canceled, like Memphis. But I think that was more because multiple players had some contact tracing results or whatever. It was just one player, being Kevin Durant. I think he shouldn't have played. He should have never played. I thought that was a slap in the face to him to actually let him play and then take him out. For that, he could have just sat in the locker room and not played at all. I didn't get the sense of him playing, and I thought that was just I thought that was just like a mix up in communication with the NBA and Brooklyn Nets, and I think it's an honest mistake. I mean, it's not like this is literally the first time you've seen something like this happen. So I'm not gonna sit there and be too harsh on the NBA on it, but if they're real strict. They've been real strict with everything. So I think that he should not have played. And I don't care what Mike say, because I can see the smile on his face.
I know you don't care. I'm about to show you right now what I'm talking about.
I can't wait. I can't wait to hear what he got to say, because he looked like he's salivated.
Yeah, I get it.
He's feeding the talk. So I'm going to just hurry up and finish up and let him go. But I just think that he should not have played, and the game should have still went on. I'm just gonna go off of that, and I guess I will just bounce off of the things that he say and continue. And Menelek and House okay, we could just all respond to everything he say. So the floor is yours.
Thank you. So this is what I mean by that. I agree with you. I feel that once they pulled him initially, it should have been that. If you know what I'm saying, if you're not sure, you should have kept him off, because like I said, you already set the tone already for the team that he's not playing. He has contact tracing. It is what it is, right? I get it. You bring him back to the game. Now, the reason why I said a quote unquote conspiracy, right, is that this is the problem to me. And I'm going to get to the joke part of the conspiracy later. You allow him to play, right? The Nets start to play better. They're playing well. He's getting in the groove. You take him back. Now, what everybody's talking about, the Nets could be the possible, championship contender against the Lakers and et cetera, and yada, yada, yada. KD looking like an MVP after Achilles, all that other stuff like that. And they pull him out of the game and then these, like the player said, these standings matter. You know what I'm saying?
I think I know where you're going with this.
The standings matter, right? The standings matter. So now you take him out, they lose that game, which is a winnable game, because when KD was in it, they actually was winning the game before he left. Even at the third quarter, they were actually winning. They take him out the game. Not trying to say they would probably still would have won the game, but it wouldn't have been as easy for them to get dominated the way they did at the end, right? Now, the reason why I said it's a conspiracy, let's get back to the health part of it. If you're pulling KD because of contact tracing and you're not sure he could spread the coronavirus, The man played over 20 minutes with his teammates and the Toronto Raptors, right? So that means that he already, quote unquote, contaminated everybody else. They sat in the locker room with him in halftime, right? He came out in the third quarter. He was breathing on cats. Now I know they said scientifically they were doing the science. It was like, oh, it's very rare that you spend the right amount of time against a opposing team or players on the court to contract the virus, but you don't know, right? So here it is. The man is already playing. It's not like with Steph Curry. When Steph Curry had it, they pulled him immediately from the game and they quarantined him. You let him play. Right, so to Hollister and Melik and everybody's point, the reason why the game should have been kind of quote unquote postponed, like when it first happened last year, and they stopped the game. If he was exposed to somebody, even though he tested negative, and you let him play because of it, and he ended up playing, they should have stopped the game when they pulled him at the third quarter, because now they got to quarantine everybody else because essentially he has it. But if for you to let the rest of the team play and finish a game, say that nobody has to. Not travel with the team and not postpone the Philadelphia game, right? That makes sense to me because think about it. He got pulled out of the game because somebody he was around has it, right? He don't have it. KD is around everybody else. So technically, if you want to do contact tracing, everybody that KD was around has to be in quarantine because he was around them, and that's contact tracing. When my wife got contact tracing when she was in school, they said, yo, somebody in your school had COVID. They called her. They said, yo, you have to quarantine. And because I live in a household, I had to quarantine 14. None of us had it, but we had to quarantine. So with that basic understanding of what that policy is, there shouldn't have been no Philly game yesterday, right? The Toronto Raptors should be quarantining, and the whole Nets squad should be quarantining. But the simple fact that the Nets team is not quarantining, and they were able to play the game in Philly and to go continue the rest of the games next week, KD should be playing, period. The man had it already. He got the antibodies. He tested negative on all his tests. Why else are you holding him out? It's because you want the Nets to lose. So what LeBron did, yo, I've seen the game like KD. Yo, send that guy over there. Send that guy to go hang out with KD. Like, yo, what you doing here, man? I just want to hang out. Think I could bum a ride in the car. KD's like, all right, I guess we're going to the same game and have a seat. All right. And the guy's like, yeah, man. Yeah, man. Everything's cool, right? Yeah, you want to sneeze on my hand? No, we're good. Like, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden now they couldn't figure it out. They go pull him out the game. Like, to me, is a bit much. And that's why I'm saying that. Jokes aside, logically it don't make sense. That's why I feel the NBA needs to figure out this ruling, because it's one thing to say he has it and he tested positive, but if you're doing contact tracing and the man is not positive and he's passing all his exams, all his tests, and those tests are negative, is no way he should not be playing. Because based on the rule of contact tracing, the concept of it, everybody he's in contact with, hence the word contact tracing, right? All of them should be under protocol. All of them should be quarantined. Every last one. Everybody from the Nets organization, everybody in Toronto should be quarantined because of the fact that Kevin Durant was supposed to be in a quarantine state. So to me, that's why I feel it's a conspiracy. That's why I feel it's stupid to me, or I feel that it doesn't make sense to do that. The man can't play till Friday. That don't make sense. Go ahead.
The only excuse I could give for why he's not playing and everybody else is I'm not saying this is a legit reason. I'm just throwing something out there because none of us have a clue. Maybe it's because he took antibodies, and that's why he's just the only one that's not playing and everybody else is, because he was in contact with the guy that supposedly has it. Mm-hmm. But it was Durant that was on the court with everybody else, and he tested negative. And he was the one around the other NBA players. The guy that tested positive was just around Durant. So being that he was around Durant and was positive, but Durant was negative, it's probably the only reason why the other NBA players were allowed to keep playing. And then the next game, because Toronto played the next day and Brooklyn played the next day. Mm-hmm. I think that's the only reason. That's the only thing I could come up with, is because it was Durant that was negative, who was around the NBA players, whereas the guy who was positive was around Durant, but Durant tested negative also. And I guess they just figured, listen, you were around this guy, you still got to quarantine.
No,
'Cause
I
guess
get that part of it.
That's the only thing I could come up with. Now,
No.
I was just throwing something out there because I'm
What
just
you said
listening
makes
to.
100% sense because that's what you would typically do. Like for instance, like there was
Yeah.
another guy at my job who, like Aubrey. I work out with Aubrey. He was on the podcast. Shout out to him, Aubrey Fitness. He has a nice show that's going out called Sport, not Fitness Talk with Aubrey, and it's a podcast that he putting out there on Instagram Live. Check it out. Anyway, so he worked with a guy who had an inclusive test who actually tested positive for coronavirus, allegedly. And then he had the quarantine, and I was next to him and the other guy, but I had my mask on. They all had their mask on, and I ended up having a quote unquote quarantine, right? But none of us had it. And even the guy who they thought had it didn't really have it. I understand what you're saying, Tyron, and what you're saying makes 100% sense. Yes, right? He should not, because he was the one who was tested negative, but the reason why they held him off is because they look at it like most people said with coronavirus, you could be asymptomatic. You don't know if you can pass on the germs to other people. You don't know if you might be a carrier. Yeah, he might have had it already, et cetera, and et cetera. My thing is that now let's get a little bit deeper in this rabbit hole, right? If the coronavirus vaccine, right? Because if you get the vaccine, if you guys plan on doing it, whoever it is, right, you still have the virus in you. You can still spread it, right? And if the vaccine is supposed to stop you from getting it, meaning that you have the antibodies to fight the virus, Kevin Durant naturally has the antibodies to fight the virus because he had the virus last year in March, right? So technically, he should be good regardless, right? Based on that science. Now, granted, I know things could be a little bit different, mutations, etc. So we don't want to get too deep into that, right? But if the man tested negative all through those things, because they do the rapid testing and they do the testing 24 hours before and all that. So he had to been tested within that window of him hanging out with that guy. Because I'm pretty sure the guy wasn't sleeping in a bunk bed with him in the hotel. You know what I'm saying? The man was by himself. And I think that game was in Brooklyn. So he most likely, Kevin Durant, was at his home. Get what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, the man tested negative. He already had the antibody. It's got to be some type of logic behind, you know what I mean, the approach of the NBA. Now, I understand it's a very delicate situation because you don't want to end up what happened last year with Rudy Gobert shut down the whole league because he was being funny. So I get that, right? But my thing is that you had him on the court playing. Him finishing the game, regardless of what it was, would not have hurt the process of what's going on right now. Because to be honest with you, based on the logic and based on the quote unquote science that the NBA is using, that everybody should have got off the court and the game should have been done.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're going to say let the rest of these cats play, you're essentially spreading it anyway. Because if that's the case, you're worried about Kevin Durant spreading it. So that's what I'm trying to say. So to me personally, I feel that it didn't make sense. Now, Tyron, what you said, like I said, I agree with you 100%. The guy that KD was around tested positive. KD didn't test positive, right? So that's why they said, all right, let them play. And even that alone, what you just said, is the reason why he should have been playing. And he should have been able to play on Saturday. Because if he's the one that tested negative and everybody else is good, then that means that KD's good. You're saying essentially indirectly. He's saying that Kevin Durant is great. He's all right. But if you're saying that he is a problem, you pull him from a game, that means everybody who's in contact with Kevin Durant should not be playing. That's all I'm saying. So to me, it's like no matter how you slice it, it don't make no sense. And that's why I feel that it's more of a shot to the team because one, he ain't playing. You know, like Kyrie playing. Kyrie took out. He had a sprained finger. All right, whatever. He didn't play. Right. Then you got James Harden. Right. They're not getting no flow. And we already seen that when they had the statistics over there. I was watching it. When they play a team that's over 500 and all of them are playing, they only play like I think two teams, but all of them are playing. Right. The Nets win. They beat those teams. Right now, granted, they be getting washed by these other teams because they don't be playing defense and they don't be caring, waking up for the team. They like the Clippers of last year. But when they play up the top teams, they put up some effort. And when they all firing on cylinder, they killing. So to me, I feel that some of that has to be in it. And even watching the referees and the calls, there's another thing one of my friends brought up to me, Albert, shout out to him, Albert Power, that brought up, like, he's like, yo, man, like, I'm watching these refs, like, they making no calls. And I made a joke on my Instagram post the other day, like, yo, ever since James Harden came to the Nets, all them calls he used to get in Houston, they swallowing that whistle, bro. And this one of the same referees from the night before is in the game yesterday and still got probably like, have a vendetta. I'm not trying to say some referees, look, it's a tough job. Even me playing on a small scale in the urban league, the referees sometimes, you got some referees just don't like you and they just ain't going to give you nothing. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to say that's only the case. And I'm not trying to say like a bitter Brooklyn fan, but I'm just saying at the end of the day, it's a lot of crazy stuff going on in this league and it's a lot of crazy things happening. And I feel that is something to me with that Kevin Durant situation that's a little bit kind of weird. And I honestly feel that if that was like a LeBron would have been playing.
They could have just did a bunch of rapid tests.
Yeah, and I mean, look, they did the test already. He's good.
They could have
They
tested
do a
him
rapid
that
test
morning.
before they even tip.
Yeah, they could have tested him the
Before they
Saturday
go to tip
morning.
off.
Do a rapid test and take 15 minutes to get the results. Like,
yeah, like LeBron called us like, "Yo, man, you sure that test came back, negative? Like, run it again." And it came back, "Oh, no, it's inconclusive." He's like, "Yo, man, run it again." So, yeah, he's positive. Come on, KD, you gotta come out. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. I'm just being funny with
y'all. Sound like two Brooklyn net crybabies, man. Y'all only crying because they lost.
No, they lost. They lost again. Like, don't get me wrong. Toronto played well, but let's keep it a buck. If Kevin Durant was playing that game, they would have lost that game, Toronto. And yesterday's game was a different story. We had our moments yesterday, but it got to the point where it's like, once you start locking on James Harden and the other guys, they making shots like Shaman and all them other cats like that, and people turnovers, that's going to hurt us. But you know what I'm saying? We're not even at full strength fully. But when we have full strength, ain't nobody seeing us, man.
Nobody.
That's the point. And that's why they saying this COVID joint. But I'm just trying to say, forget about the Brooklyn net part of me saying this, but all of that stuff you said, Tyrone, Malik, Hollister, myself, it don't make sense. And I feel that that's something that the NBA has to really look at. And I don't want to hold up too much more. Unless you guys got something else to say about that topic, we can move to the next quick topic, which is the All-Star game and the players complaining. And then we can go into our Super Bowl predictions and kind of wrap because, like I said, it's a snowstorm out here. So, try to get back home.
We can move
Anybody
on.
else got anything to say with this KD situation? Malik, I know you had your joint unmuted, so I wasn't sure if you wanted to say something.
Nah, yeah. Y'all pretty much hit it on the head. So y'all covered everything I was going to say pretty much.
Cool. So I'm gonna go to the next topic. I'm gonna hit up Tyrone first. It will be Tyrone, Malik, Hollister, and I'll go last again. So, as we all know, the NBA initially said this season was a shortened season, 72-game season. They wasn't gonna have an All-Star game. That's what the players agreed upon. Now, recently they said, they're gonna push for the All-Star game. They have it in Atlanta. A lot of people feel a certain kind of way about having it in Atlanta because Atlanta is like a hot spot for COVID. It's too open, which I agree. It had other people saying stuff like, "Yo, man, you guys gotta watch out." You don't want to get into this whole thing like politically, but it was like, a lot of times our people of color sometimes it was like, "Yo, you gotta be careful," because even though y'all want to go party and all these people out here in these Atlanta, they let y'all come to these parties and y'all ain't got no mask on, y'all doing all this other stuff like that. Y'all gotta think about your health and think about what's going on with this COVID joint and not take it too lax. And Atlanta hot wings, whatever you want to say, everybody partying and chilling. All right. Anyway, LeBron had a comment. He's like, "Look, man, I don't think we should have it. I think it's a slap in the face." He said, "Look, man, we just had like 71 days off after that, even though they had 5 months before the bubble, but whatever. I'm not gonna say that. But I do agree with him. They just finished the season. They made an agreement to shorten the season, not have All-Star game. The guys wanted to relax and stuff like that and chill those 5 days. You got some players who don't really care because they say, look, I like Jeff Green was like, look, I ain't playing there. Like freaking De'Aaron Fox, like, oh, he's stupid, whatever. But they don't care because they're not really playing. They're not All-Stars. But it's a part of me that's kind of feel like, you know what? It is what it is. It's part of the game. All-Star, it's for a good cause for the historical black colleges and stuff like that. But I kind of understand both sides of it. But I don't know if this is coming from a place like I was talking to Aubrey. He was like, he feels it's coming from a place of ego with LeBron, as opposed to coming from a place of like feeling like betrayal. And he is part of the committee. So I'm like, yo, your man's Chris Paul and vice president. He the one's going for it. So like, yo, what is it? Y'all not talking? People trying to spin that. So Tyrone, what is your take on that? Do you think that they crying about it? Do you think there should be an All-Star game? Do you think that LeBron has a legitimate gripe?
All right, let me get this out the way first before I give my opinion on that. Anybody that knows me know.
Don't care about the All-Star game.
See? That's my brother talking. All right. I haven't watched an All-Star game since Michael Jordan's final All-Star game where Mariah Carey was wearing the Washington Wizards dress and, Mike hit the fadeaway on Shawn Marion and stupid Jermaine O'Neal had to foul Kobe to send the game into overtime, ruining Mike's final All-Star moment. But yeah, I've dibbled and dabbled. I think I watched the next year. I probably watched like half of it, and that was literally it. I do not watch the All-Star game. I watch All-Star Weekend. I tune into All-Star Weekend for everything: the celebrity game, the dunk contest, the 3-point shootout, the other stuff that when they used to have the big three thing with the WNBA players. The skills challenge, I follow all of that. But once that All-Star game come on Sunday, TV is off of it. But so I really don't have an interest. Having said all that, I think they should not have the All-Star game for the simple fact of They agreed to not have it. So why decide last minute, oh, let's do it? With the LeBron James saying what he said, listen, I agree with him saying that there's no All-Star game, but we all know sometimes he could be full of it with a lot of stuff and he could be over dramatic about things. Listen, I get it. 71 days, you in between the championship game and the first game of the season, I get it. Like Mike said already, you have 4 months off before the bubble. That I get. We already know that. That's why they had all the energy and stuff when they went into the bubble. Okay? So we get that. Remember, y'all wanted the bubble. Y'all wanted to go and finish the season. You didn't have to. You could have just started back over in October, canceled the season, but you didn't want to do that. So they said, okay, here we go. They're not going to offset the rest of time in NBA history just because you guys wanted to play in the bubble. They weren't going to push back the NBA to like April or May, give you like guys like 4 or 5 months off like you normally get. It wasn't going to happen. You guys knew it was going to be a short turnaround. So you can't really complain about, oh, we only had 71 days and blah, blah, blah. Right. I get it. I know he's tired. People going to, it's the same song and dance with him. He's in his 18th season, blah, blah, blah. They're going to keep saying it. I get it. But I think that he should not really complain that much. Also, at the same time, because guess what? Normally, back in the day, you played the Thursday game. You have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday off, and games are back on Tuesday, Wednesday. A few years back, they changed it where you get a whole week off. This year, it's a 2-week break. Like, listen to that for a second. 2-week break. So, is this All-Star game really gonna hurt? Now, let me say it again. I agree with them. They shouldn't play it, but it's not that devastating as the way they're making it sound. You're gonna play one game. It's not like LeBron's in the dunk contest, the 3-point shootout, the skills challenge, and the All-Star game. He's playing one game, and if he wants to, he could just go to the coach. Listen, I could give you about 20 minutes tonight.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah,
you don't have to. And remember, I agree with him, but I'm just saying, if they do have it, how much crying should you really do about it? You're getting 2 weeks off, and you're gonna get the 2 weeks off after the All-Star game. It's not like you're gonna get a week off, then the All-Star game, then another week off. You're gonna get the All-Star game and then 2 weeks off. I don't get it. I don't get it. Now, maybe he's worried about the city they're going to. Maybe he's worried about the fans being. I don't know if fans are going to be there. Most likely they are. Because what's that's
why they're going there. I think that's why they're going.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what's the point in having an All-Star game if there's no fans? And he was just saying the other day that he missed being around the fans. I don't know if it's that. Maybe he's scared. Now, this is a little joke. Maybe he's scared that girl that he got kicked out is gonna come back with some
courtside Karen,
and maybe they're gonna come back to, because remember it was in Atlanta this happened. Maybe they're gonna come back and press him. Maybe he's scared. I don't know, but but I look at it like I agree with him. They don't need it, but that's me. That's my personal reason. I think the All-Star game is trash. These guys don't play for they don't care about it like they used to. I mean, they did care last year, but that was more in honor of Kobe. So, like before that, it was just a joke. Mm-hmm. That's why I didn't watch it. But at the same time, as I agree with him, even if they make, it's almost like when you're at work. You're at work and your boss may say, "All right, you don't have to do this today," but then 20 minutes later, he said, "Listen, I need you to do this." You don't want to do it, but at the end of the day, you don't really have a choice. And is it really that harmful? Or you're just upset that he told you could do it? You don't have to do it, but then decided you have to do it. Yeah. You got to live with it, man. You're going to live another day. It's an All-Star game. If he don't want to do it, don't go. To be honest with you.
I don't know if they get fined or something like that for that.
Now, if he decides he's going to go, then He argued about it for nothing. But if he really stands by what he believes in, he should not complain about the All-Star game going on. He should just not go. You're hearing Giannis and Kawhi and everybody talk. They're complaining too. Listen, if y'all don't want to go, don't go. Give these other guys an opportunity to make the All-Star team. If it's that important to you not to go, don't go. But I do agree with them on not playing. I do agree. But I don't see how devastating this could be to you if you're going to have 2 weeks off.
Yeah. Menelik?
All right, so yeah, Tyrone definitely hit on some of the things I was thinking as well. So yeah, on a base level, right, with the information we currently have, I understand a player's gripes with having to play the game. It was agreed to before the season there would be no All-Star game. That's what the expectation. That's what everybody had in their head. That was the plan, right? Now, I want to know how it came about that now they're going to do a game. What are the reasons? Because to me, depending on the reason why the All-Star game is going on, then as Tyrone said, all right, it's kind of like, yeah, when you're at work, there might be, okay, this is going to be your schedule, right? And then your boss might be like, oh, this person got sick or this person got fired. Can you do X, Y, and Z? Or other things happen. Like sometimes at a job, right? It essentially is their job, right? Things happen. So if I want to know the reasoning and the reasons, like outside of the good cause, like I know part of it was to try to help HBCUs, which I think is a good cause and something that a lot of the players speak to, something that they say they care about.
Yeah.
Right. But worst case scenario, right? Once again, they're condensing it. It's not going to be a full production. I think they're going to try to have everything in one day, right? So they're not going to have multiple days. You're still going to get somewhat of a break overall. And, I think at most, maybe, because Tyrone spoke to it before, but I think it is required, it's mandatory to do the All-Star game if you select it. But they should give people the option to opt out. Maybe, right? So if it's that serious to them, right? Then let somebody else take that spot. Or, it's happened before with injuries or other things where you get voted in, right? That way the players who had less rest, like LeBron or other people, even though I don't think LeBron would sit out, but you give them a chance to be like, you know what? I don't really want to do this right now. And somebody else get that chance or that spot. And the other piece too is, for me, whenever you can have some level of consistency, I think is good. So look at a player like Julius Randle, right? Once again, I'm not saying he's going to make it, right? He's having a career year, right? And once again, in the grand scheme of life, it's not that deep in certain ways. I get it. But players or like Jaylen Brown, right, who this could be his first time being an All-Star, things like that, this season is never going to happen again. So for them to have their chance to be an All-Star, I think if you gotta, maybe like Tyrone said, just go to the coach. You LeBron. If you tell him I'm playing 5 minutes, you playing 5 minutes. Like you tell him I'm playing 1 minute at the beginning of the game, 1 minute at the end of the game, you're gonna get that. It's gonna happen for you. Right. So I'm like, look, for people where it really could be an issue, give them a chance to opt out. And at most, right? Because I know that my understanding is that the All-Star game is usually mandatory. And then I also want to know what are the reasons. So if it's because the league has really still been hurting or they can't fulfill the players' contracts, like you alluded to too, LeBron is part of the Players Association. And once again, that's why I said we need more information. Some of the reports are saying that the Players Association or the players or part of the players or somebody was pushing for it or were actively working toward trying to have it happen. There has to be a reason for that, right? So once again, it could be some power play thing, or maybe LeBron felt differently, but CP3 wasn't trying him. So who knows what happened? But I don't think CP3 either would want to push for this after what they were able to achieve and work out with the league, with the bubble.
Yeah.
And other things like that. I don't think, once again, I could be wrong, but I don't think that they would insist on trying to have the All-Star game for no apparent reason. And they are trying to make some concessions by making it shorter one day, figuring out. I do agree though with the fact that maybe with Atlanta being open in that sense is not the best place to do it for sure. And I can understand players having or gripes or understandings with that, or feeling like, oh, it should be a bubble if we're going to do, or like, not necessarily a bubble, like in a more secure place. I get that. I just think the overall thing, like Tyrone kind of said, look, I can understand that you have one expectation and there wasn't going to be a game, and now they're trying to shoehorn it. I totally get that. But if you end up having to do the All-Star game for good reasons, it's not the end of the world, and they're not asking on paper for so much. I get it. It is a time where maybe you could have took a vacation with your family extra long, because I know in this condensed compact schedule they have less time for that. Like they was on like a 7-game road trip and things like that. So if you can find it in yourself to, for the sake of your job, the money you get and other factors, to do it if it's for a good cause. So like I said, I get the initial reaction, like, look, this is not what we signed up for, X, Y, and Z. And on the flip side, to be just a little bit of whatever, right? The players, right, agreed and signed up to not go to bars and clubs and parties and do a bunch of things that now they talking about, I'm grown men, I could do what I want, or why they trying to do this. So the league tried to work with y'all on that regard, and then y'all could find it in yourselves to be like, yeah, we signed up for this, but it's unreasonable. So I just feel like, just with that same energy overall, and once again, I'm not knocking the players, and I get it. They agreed to one thing. I just want more information. So, like, I see points on both sides.
Yeah. Hollister?
Yeah, so I was reading or watching. They said Chris Paul is the one that was pushing for the All-Star game. So I'm assuming maybe that could have something to do with the CBA, coming up. They got to renegotiate. So, the owners probably trying to get back some money as well, too. And for them to say Atlanta is not a safe place, I agree. But also, too, with the Super Bowl is in Florida. Florida is not the most safest place as well, too, because it's very open, just like Atlanta and the whole state of Georgia. And for the players, I get their point that, they'd rather be home with their families and everything. But I was thinking the way they kind of crying about it, because LeBron was like, oh, he has zero energy for it. He said if he's selected, I'm like, dude, damn well you're going to be selected. Stop.
He already voted in. You know what I mean? Like, the fans voted in. Go ahead, House.
It's like, I get this too. Like, the NBA want to do that for the fans. Like, mainly like the young fans is like, all right, they couldn't really go to games, so this might be a little chance they could actually go, probably get close to the game. Like, all right, this might be the only chance we get to see all these guys at once, especially with this whole pandemic going on. But these guys, I get it. They want to spend time with their family. Kawhi said he has no interest. Giannis, LeBron. But it's like, guys, this is part of your job. And it's, in a way, that's like us too. When we go to work, our job might send us an email. Oh, we got a workshop or a meeting, or we got to go to on a deal. We don't want to do it, but we just got to go in there and do it. I just look at it like this. Like Tyrone said, it's one day. You're going to have 2 weeks off after that. It's not going to kill you guys. You get to see your families after the game. Y'all could just fly on your private jets and go home and be over with it. But these players, they too spoiled. They too spoiled. They don't want to do this. They don't want to do that. But they all need to go talk to Chris Paul, because he's the one that pushed for it. And now the All-Star game is happening March 7th in Atlanta. But you just got to deal with it and see. That's it.
See what happens. I agree with you, Hollis. And I look at it from your perspective, and I have a few takes on that. Like you said, I feel that I'm a mixed bag, like what Melik said, and we all been saying this. Like, I'm not clocking. They all grown men. They could do what they got to do. But at the end of the day, just like us, when we work our regular jobs, there's certain things you do in your job within the parameters that you agreed upon in your contract, right? So, for instance, sometimes you got to come in on the weekend to do certain things for your job. Sometimes you have to do certain things. It's just part of the nature of the beast, especially depending on your job. It's a partnership, but the partnership is not a one-way street. A lot of these players don't understand that. Yes, once the league lose money, you lose money. Look at the NFL. I think NFL got like a new salary cap that's coming down, that's bringing down the money even more to stifle the players. So the players are losing more money. You know what I'm saying? Now moving forward in the NFL, whereas the NBA is more progressive, where they have certain things. So when it comes to that avenue of it, maybe like Melik said, we need more information, but maybe Chris Paul was pushing for it. He realized, like, look, hey, we can get more eyes on not only on the historical black colleges and get these young athletes who are nice, instead of signing the Duke and signing the freaking North Carolina, even on like my Tar Heels, maybe go sign to Howard, maybe go sign to another historical black college, Hampton, you know what I'm saying? Whatever, you know what I'm saying? And do that. as opposed to going to these regular schools and going to like the freaking JBL or whatever, right? Let me stop. But at the end of the day, I look at it like this perspective. You have players from back in the day, they didn't have the luxury, the technology to recover like these players do now. And they were playing 82 games, taking commercial flights, sitting next to crying babies on a plane to go travel. You know what I'm saying? Wearing Converses and playing basketball. And to now, these guys got private jets where they playing spades and crying cars and chilling and have all the amenities that they have, even like the staff around them. Now, I don't want to sound like a Shaq, even though sometimes some of the stuff Shaq said, and we can talk about this next week. I agree with it, like, trying to push place at the next level. I know we spoke about it briefly last week, but I look at it like this, right? To the NBA came out, so it was rumors coming out that the NBA was more concerned of the players being alone on that time and causing more problems. Like Malik alluded to earlier, like the guys like, yo, we agreed to this. We grown men. I can go to a club. I can do this. I can go to a party and do all this other stuff like that. So the NBA is like, look, if we have these guys going out for these 2 weeks, doing whatever they want for these 2 weeks, it's a possibility that a lot of these players will have COVID. And if these players get COVID, right, we can't play. Now, the NBA is smart. If you look at it from this perspective, all-stars are always the best player on the team, right? Now, you got some all-stars on teams that ain't making the playoffs. Like, pretty much Zion might be an all-star. His team ain't making the playoffs the way they're playing right now. But if you keep the star players like LeBron, AD, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, James Harden, Giannis, all the star players will be in the facility where they're getting monitored, tested, right? So in the event the rest of the average guys do something stupid, a Lou Williams type of thing, right? Honey getting some lemon pepper wings from the strip club. The rest of the guys on the star players, the money makers of the league, will be okay, and hopefully, depending on how I know LeBron's very mature. He take care of his business, so he's not gonna be. As long as he don't send no other cats to mess around with KD, we should be fine over that side too, right? They're gonna be fine. So if the Nets can't play with like a DeAndre Jordan, let's say DeAndre Jordan went out in some way, he got COVID. They still got their star players. They still got people going to bring people to watch those games. So the NBA is kind of hedging their bets. It's like, look, we got these players here. We could kind of quote unquote monitor them, give them one more pep talk, like, hey guys, make sure you do your thing for these 2 weeks while the rest of the guys do their thing, right? So my thing to me is that they have to. It's a money thing. We all know that the All-Star game brings in money. It also helps the players because if you get listed as an All-Star or you make an All-NBA team, sometimes you get incentive to get your Supermax money. So it's all part of it. Like Hollister said, you got to go hit up, Chris Paul, because y'all voted for that. The only reason why he went for that is because y'all voted and said yes. Now, maybe him and LeBron maybe butt heads on behind the scene. We don't know. Maybe him and LeBron, he's like, nah, bro, I'm sorry, man. We got to do this for this colleges. We got to do this. We need this. And LeBron's like, probably like, nah. And you know how everybody else be like, whatever LeBron does, we're going to do. You know what I'm saying? So maybe Chris Paul's like, nah, I'm not doing that. And force the issue. And the NBA's like, all right, bet we're going to do it. And that's it. So it is what it is. I do feel there's a little bit of it crying on it. Now, like I said, I know I don't play basketball on their level, obviously. And I'm older than most of those players anyway. Right. And when I've been playing basketball at my job for them 2 days of the week and then playing a corporate league, yes, my body can take it. And those not even like repetitive games like these guys in high intensity games. But like I said, they got nutritionists, they got all the bells and whistles to help them recover faster. And yes, it's just 1 day. Like Malik said, they're trying to get everything in 1 day. So you guys don't got to go out there and make a big spectacle. And usually in the All-Star game and All-Star weekend, the guys have fun anyway. They play around, they joke around, they relax, they go hang out in the local area, and then they do their thing. Now, the Atlanta thing, I understand it. You know what I mean? It's a little bit too free. And if you know you have an All-Star game, and not like to say only the All-Stars going to be traveling there, 9 times out of 10 other guys going to come over there for the festivities, for other things. So you put yourself more at risk of other players getting caught up there and doing that. But I feel that LeBron mentioned that. Not only because of the safety part, but also like throw a monkey wrench and then look, y'all not even picking the proper place. Y'all want to have fans, y'all want to do all the different things like that, but you got to be more smart. You got to be smarter about it. And I feel it's like a give and take, on a hand washing hand type of thing. So it is what it is, but they'll figure it out. But switching gears, unless you guys have anything to say about that, let's try to get into these NFL predictions because my laptop is running low on juice, and like I said, the snow is coming down. So as we know, Super Bowl. What Super Bowl is it? Super Bowl what?
5, I think.
Yeah, Super Bowl, whatever. All right. You got Kansas City Chiefs versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You have Goat Mahomes versus the GOAT that they consider Tom Brady. Now, I hate Tom Brady, and because he was a Patriot, I mean, I learned to respect him in time, and I do respect what he's done. And the animosity is not as high as it was when he was on the Patriots. However, I still want him to lose. I want, Kansas City to win. You know what I mean? I want, Patrick Mahomes to get up there and get that second championship and do something that what a lot of teams haven't done, which is like run it back and like be like a 2-peat, maybe even 3-peat next year if they keep everybody and they stay healthy. Because in football, it's very hard to make it to the Super Bowl. So you got some teams that make it and then they never make it again. So it's very hard to make it to the Super Bowl. And I would like to see him win. And I also look at it from the perspective of the coaches. I like to see the black coaches on the other team, Tampa Bay get a ring too. So it's like a lot of different things. But that's my prediction. I feel that Kansas City, I'll make mine short and sweet and let y'all go in. I think Kansas City's going to win. I think the score will probably be maybe 30-something and 28 or something like that. I don't know. We'll see. But that's how I look at it. It's going to be a high-scoring game, I believe. But I feel that Tampa Bay is going to, come out strong at the beginning. And then, Patrick Mahomes didn't want to come out later on. I know they got some injuries and some players and stuff like that, but I feel that they should pull out this game. All right. So, Hollister, man, like the Tyrone.
All right. So, on one hand, I'm not a Tom Brady fan, but I respect the hell out the man. Man has 6 rings, legend, future Hall of Famer. Patrick Mahomes is young. He's going to be there at some point, or he's on his way there. And for tonight, I got Kansas City winning, I will say 33, Tampa Bay 28. But also, too, Tampa Bay has a good defense, but their offense is kind of shaky. Hopefully, the only way for them to win, Tom Brady's going to do what he does regardless. But the receivers got to make sure they catch the ball. Godwin and Mike Evans and those guys, because a lot of times they be dropping the ball. Kansas City, we all know Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, all those other guys, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, we know what they're capable of doing. And also, Kansas City has a strong defense. They pretty much has the same team from last year. They still got Chris Jones, Frank Clark, Tyrann Mathieu, those guys. They're going to put a stop to Tom Brady. And for Tampa Bay to if they could win, the defense, they got to worry about Shaquille Barrett and what's his name, Jason Pierre-Paul. Those guys, if they could get them home, they might have a chance to do it. But I do got Kansas City pulling out and winning out. I got them winning. And Eric Bieniemy, he's a smart offensive coordinator. I know they got some tricks up the sleeve. Look what they did Tyron. Look, they did to San Francisco last year. They beat.
Don't be surprised. Don't be sorry, man.
They top defense. They overcame that. So they could definitely, overcome Tampa Bay's defense. But
you could have just said they won last year. You didn't have to bring up the team.
But you had to bring up.
No. Just next time, don't mind your business, okay? Don't bring up my team. I didn't bring up the Washington football team. Don't bring up.
We almost beat Tampa Bay. It was all good though. But hey, we on our way up there.
Almost is not winning.
We don't brag about y'all.
We don't brag about almost.
Y'all made the play.
Yeah, half our roster was injured, but whatever.
Yeah, that's it for me. 38, I would say 33-28.
Okay. Malik?
All right, yeah. So, like Hollister and them was saying, Kansas City, arguably the best offense in football. Got Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, and Patrick Mahomes. What he's been doing, it's just ridiculous. Greatest start to a career pretty much in the NFL. Then you got Tampa Bay. They also have a pretty good offense, because any offense with Tom Brady at the head of it, once again, is going to have a chance as long as you got something for him to utilize. And, they have Mike Evans. They got those other guys. And, I don't know if Antonio Brown is going to play, but they got him. They got Gronk. They got pieces over there. I mean, the Buccaneers defense is, supposed to be a little better, but Kansas City has some good pieces on their defense as well. And then when you look at it, they do. My main concern is with, Kansas City having the 2 offensive linemen, tackles or whatever out, because I know they were both, high level factors, and you gotta make sure Mahomes going to do his thing. I mean, he is shown that whenever his number is called, he tries to find a way, and he usually delivers. He shows up, he finds a way. So I'm definitely going with Kansas City. Once again, I respect Tom Brady. I know what he's capable of. Once again, the 6 titles, and coming to this new team now after leaving Belichick and everybody having those questions, you know, can he do it without him? Can he do it another place? He's showed more than that at 43. No matter what history is going to be made. It's the first time Super Bowl is being played where one of the teams is a home team. There's that in the play. You got, you know, Mahomes trying to go back to back, which hasn't been done since Brady did it with the Patriots and, you know, like about a decade ago. You got Tom trying to go for his 7th title, and I think to be the second person to do it on 2 different teams, quarterback to do it with 2 different teams. It just is a lot of history on the line at stake. So I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a close game. I don't know if I feel like I have like a certain score per se, but I definitely think it's going to be close. I think, you know, maybe Tampa Bay might get up early and then the Chiefs, you know, hold on and then clutch it out. Not sure, but once again, I just think it's going to be a good game, good for football, and good for, you know, the legacies of both guys. You know, even with, you know, like I said, I love Brady, respect him, but I definitely want to see Patrick Mahomes get his next title because there's nothing guaranteed, and the club, the system, the team here with Andy Reid, the offense, the what they have his window right now. Yeah, I really wanted to be able to try to, you know, capitalize on that while they got this team together. Because as you can see, sometimes, you know, with the organizations could potentially hold you back. Mm-hmm. And his talent mixed with, you know, his ability, is something to see. Yeah. And he deserves to have that kind of career and opportunities. You know, as arguably this could have been his 3rd one, or if not for like one play in that other year. So
yeah, it should be fun to Tom Brady and his team.
Yeah,
and
the only other thing too is that I know it was the season and the football is crazy, but they did meet earlier in the year, and you know Kansas City pulled it out as well. So I mean, yeah, so I'm going with them. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, Tyrone.
Yeah. Today, let me apologize ahead of time. I'm in the subway.
Okay.
So I may pause. Pause and the train just pulled up, so I may pause it in between. But I just want to say that I think I'm gonna pick Kansas City to win this game. I think it's hard to beat the champion. I think they basically have the same roster that they had last year, and Patrick Mahomes just gets better and better every year. I think that on paper, Tampa Bay actually has the better talent on paper. You know, when you have Mike Evans, Antonio Brown, Chris Goodwin, you got Gronk, you know, you got Miller, you got Cameron Brate, who's another tight end they have. You have Leonard Fournette. You have Ronald Jones. Like, they have the talent. The defense is good too. So you have a lot of offensive talent. On paper, they should win everything, you know, with Tom Brady. You know, but they have more talent, but the Kansas City Chiefs have the better players. Like, you know what they always say. You could have the better team, but most of the time it's the team with the best player that wins. They have Pat Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Tyreek Hill. Those 3 players overshadow anybody on Tampa. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to give them the edge. Plus, they're the champs, and they look like a team that's destined to win multiple championships.
Yeah,
they're young, they're fast, and I think that it's going to be a close game. I give Kansas City the edge, 38-24. I'm going to say it's going to be something like that. I think it's going to be a close game at the beginning, but I think they'll pull away. I know firsthand, as Hollister rudely mentioned, my Niners lost to them last year with a little lead. So it's like no lead is safe when you have Pat Mahomes. And they beat them earlier this year also, so that helps.
Patrick. His mom don't like people calling Pat. You know, call him Patrick.
I get it. I understand. I watched his father play baseball. I know who Pat Mahomes Sr. is because he was a pitcher, a relief pitcher. So I get it. I get it. She would have to call me up and correct me, but she doesn't know me personally.
Once we get there, she will. Once we get there, she will.
Yeah, but I'll apologize in advance. I can't promise you that it wouldn't happen again.
Yeah,
but
so.
I think that they're going to win 38-24. I think it's going to be close early, but then they'll pull away late. The key to the game is Kansas City's defense, because we know what their offense can do. We know what Tampa's offense could do. Tampa's defense is solid too. But if Kansas City can hold off Tom Brady on a couple of drives, and then, that's all they need, because Pat can get in the end zone against any team. So if they could hold off, and because I know firsthand, my 49ers were the best defensive team in the league last year. So, and he got through that. So he can get through anything.
Yeah,
so I think that he shut up, man. I think that they're gonna win 38-24, and I can't wait to get home now and get ready to watch it.
Yeah, same here, man. I mean, I'm about to wrap this up soon because I got to drive my brother back home, Menelik, and do this snowstorm in the drive. So get home safe, Tyrone, just in case when I end it, I don't hear back from you. But I agree with y'all. So it's Kansas City across the board, I'm assuming. Like I said, I like both teams. I do respect the players, but like one thing Tyrone kind of alluded to and kind of said, and I'm just going to say it definitively, is that Kansas City, everybody on the team has been there, and they have been there in the Super Bowl last year. They've been there, done that. This is Tampa Bay's first time, except for Tom Brady and maybe Gronkowski and a few other players on the team that have been to that big game. And also, like, I think one of the guys on Tampa Bay was saying, like, he was crying in the locker room when they was going to the Super Bowl, and Tom Brady had to be like, yo, what you crying for, man? We ain't win it yet. We got one more to win. Like, the mentality is different. Like, how they going to respond after the first drive when, like, Kansas City might make it easy? Like, how they going to respond if Tyreek Hill get a freaking another 100 or 200 yards in the first half? And you know what I'm saying? We know that they're going to be on him. But like Malik said, like, you got Travis Kelce, who's like literally considered right now after Gronk, even though Gronk is back, still the best tight end in the game, the safety blanket. And you still got other people. Then you got, is Le'Veon Bell playing this game? I know he was hurt, but he's gonna play. Then you got the other. What's the other? Their running back.
That was Hilaire.
Yeah, you got him. He under sneaky.
They said everybody that's hurt. They said everybody should be playing.
All right, everybody should be playing except for the tackles. You know what I'm saying? Like on the Kansas City side. And like Malik said. Yeah, and one guy got an Achilles injury. Like I agree with Melik. That's kind of sketchy because those are big, prominent guys that help you and protect Patrick Mahomes. But Patrick Mahomes not like Tom Brady. He can move. He can throw like crazy passes. He can move. I'm not trying to say Tom Brady's not nice, but Tom Brady, he didn't play that well that last game that they lost, that they won to make it to the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? And if the Kansas City
Chiefs, I'm going under.
All right, man.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, later. So yeah. So like, you know, when Patrick Mahomes is playing and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? Like as long as he can keep and do his thing and move, and that turf toe ain't bothering him, and they can keep him, you know, upright, and nothing crazy happen, like no bad hit that's gonna like put him in concussion protocol or some crap like that to mess him up on both sides. I think this would be a good game, and I really do hope it's a nice, fun, clean game. Everybody has a good time. They're playing in nice weather. I think they should be able to rock out, and I do agree it's going to be a close game, but I do feel that Kansas City is going to start, you know, pulling away and winning it all. Man, don't get me wrong. Like I said, I respect Tom Brady now, especially that he's not on the Patriots. But I feel a lot of that, you know, is hand washed hand. Tom Brady's talent, his poise, his intelligence has got him to 10 Super Bowls, and possibly he could win one. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? Patrick Mahomes' talent, his intelligence, his skill set. He's a very young guy, and like Melik said, he was like one snap away or some messed up play to making it to the Super Bowl, and probably have been this three-peating it like freaking Jordan. You know what I'm saying? And the Bulls. So my thing is that, you know, I like Patrick Mahomes. I feel that his ceiling is so high. I want him to do well. I like him as a guy. He's not even on my team. My team's the Giants, but still, like, he's a great player. I want, like Melik said, windows of opportunity to show. Who knows what's going to happen. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think they'll kind of keep this dynasty going, but you never know. You know what I'm saying? God forbid injuries, anything like that. So I'm hoping that they win. So like I said, so
yeah, my next train is in 6 minutes. So
okay, yeah. So yeah, we're about to wrap it up right now. I'm gonna do the quick outro and stuff like that. So yeah, I want to thank you guys again, Tyrone, Hollis, and Melik, for joining me and doing this snowy day. Especially Melik, I picked you up, and we're here at our mom's and the mom and dad house, and we got to go back to our homes, our family. So hopefully we get there safely. Tyrone, get home safely. Hollis, so thank you for putting on your camera and being part of this joint. You know what I'm saying? But I want to thank you guys for listening to the podcast. I want to thank you guys again for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. It does help the channel a lot. help it grow. Please leave some feedback for us. If anything you want us to do that's differently, you know, and whatever topics you might feel that we should talk about, let us know. If you want us to talk about other besides the typical sports that we talk about, maybe some other things are revolving around the sport, maybe some other things you might want us to get involved in, just let us know. We'll talk about that too. But anyway, enjoy the rest of your evening. Enjoy the game if you're going to watch. Enjoy, take care, and God bless.